If you spent any time on crypto Twitter this past week, you have seen the war, Pearl on one side, Nockchain on the other, holders of each arguing about which one is the real proof of useful work chain. And almost nobody on either side of that argument is correctly explaining how the other project actually works. So today, no sides, no tribalism, just a clean breakdown of what these two projects are, where they overlap, where they genuinely differ, and what each one is best positioned to win. Two projects. One category, massive upside if you understand both. Quick context: if this is your first CSG video, I called BitTensor at $8, I called Caspa at 1 cent, I called TIBBIR at 2 cents. No paid token deals, no VC carry. The reason this comparison matters is that Nockchain and Pearl are not just two coins. They are two of the cleanest expressions of an entirely new category, and the category itself is what creates generational returns. Let me show you why. If you do not want to find out about category shifts like this 6 months after the rest of the market, subscribe. Start with the category. Every Bitcoin miner on the planet right now is burning electricity to solve a hash puzzle that does nothing else. Trillions of guesses per second. The output is a number with leading zeros. That is it. It secures the chain, and it is also the largest single conversion of electricity into nothing in human history. Proof of useful work is the answer to that. The idea is simple. What if the work the miners are doing to secure the chain was also genuinely useful in some other domain? What if the same kilowatt hour that secured the blockchain also trained a model, ran an inference, or proved a piece of computation? That is the category. And right now, the two projects with the strongest credibility in that category, the two projects everyone is arguing about, are Nockchain and Pearl. Before we get into the projects, two definitions that the rest of the video depends on. Compute is just raw GPU time, the hours of work that AI companies pay through the nose for. OpenAI, Anthropic, every cloud provider, every model host, every research lab, every video startup, they're all renting compute. Then there is inference. Inference is what happens when a trained model actually does its job. You type a prompt, the model produces an answer. That is inference. Every chat, every image, every code completion, every search result an AI touches. The demand for inference is exploding faster than the supply of efficient places to run it. That gap is the opportunity both of these projects are attacking. And they attack it in genuinely different ways. Start with Nockchain. Nockchain is a layer 1 blockchain secured by zero-knowledge proofs. Miners do not hash. They generate zero-knowledge proofs, which are these lightweight mathematical certificates that prove a piece of computation ran correctly without having to rerun it. The proofs are the work. The proofs are the security. On April 30th, the team behind Nockchain published their white paper titled A Distributed Market for Verifiable Computation. 12 days ago from the time of recording, phase 2 of the chain went live. 2.5-minute blocks. New issuance schedule. New difficulty adjustment. 5 days ago, the persistent memory arena upgrade shipped 20 times less memory at steady state. The chain is moving fast. And then on May 18th, the team announced what all of this was for. The first compute market on Nockchain dedicated to AI inference. Here is how it works. Any AI company that needs heavy computation, image generation, an inference batch, a model evaluation, pays for it directly through the blockchain marketplace. Nockchain miners take those paid jobs, run the work, and submit a zero-knowledge proof that the work was done correctly. The miner gets paid twice, once by the customer who needed the inference, and again in NOCK block rewards for securing the chain. Code goes live end of May, full market upgrade end of June. The framing from the team itself, quote, compute is the defining commodity of the digital age. Nockchain is bringing it to the masses. The key feature, though, is that this design is ZK generalized. The marketplace can verify almost any kind of computation. AI inference is the first market. It is not the last. Now Pearl. Pearl takes a fundamentally different shape. Pearl is a Bitcoin fork, UTXO model, Taproot only addresses, fixed supply of 2.1 billion coins, halving style emission schedule. Same architecture as Bitcoin, the single thing Pearl swapped out is the work the miners do. A Bitcoin miner runs SHA 256, a Pearl miner runs AI inference. Specifically, every Pearl miner is a Hopper class GPU, an H100 or an H200, running an AI model. The mining puzzle itself is the heavy matrix math the GPU was already built for. The model produces inference output, and here is the part the noisy social media takes get wrong. Pearl does have a separate proving step. Once the inference runs, a lightweight Plonky 2 zk-SNARK wraps around the matrix multiplications and produces a roughly 60 kilobyte proof that the inference was performed correctly on the actual model. That proof is what secures the chain, so the work is genuinely useful, the proof is light, and the overhead mathematically is what the academic paper calls 1 plus little o of 1, asymptotically negligible. The brand pitch is 2 for 1. The same kilowatt hour of GPU electricity that runs the customer's inference also produces the proof that secures the network and earns the miner PRL, real inference, real chain security, same electricity. The credentialing here is unusually deep for crypto. The theoretical paper Proofs of Useful Work from Arbitrary Matrix Multiplication is by Elon Komargodski at Hebrew University and Omri Weinstein at Columbia. Featured by a 16Z crypto, mainnet has been live since mid-January. The Bitcoin fork DNA is real. The proving mechanism is peer-reviewable cryptography. This is the framing that finally clicks. On May 19th, a Perlline developer named Shota Kaminosato responded to the Nockchain compute market thread with the cleanest, sharpest version of the difference between these two projects I have read anywhere. Quote, "Nock proves computation happened. Perl makes the computation inherently useful." Read that twice. Nockchain proves the work happened. Perl makes the work itself the useful thing. In Nockchain's design, the heavy AI math is done by miners for the marketplace, and a zero-knowledge proof attests to it. In Perl's design, the heavy AI math is the chain's consensus mechanism. Same end result, useful computation gets done. Miners get paid, the chain stays secure, different paths, executing the same category level idea from different angles. Now let me argue against both, honestly. Nockchain, the compute market is announced, not live. Code launches end of May, full market upgrade end of June. Until then, it is roadmap. The L1 is real, phase 2 is live, but the actual paid inference marketplace has not yet transacted. Nockchain trades around $50 million market cap, 90% below all-time high, and the Nock app ecosystem is still small. Perl. Perl has no centralized exchange listing. The only live market is a peer-to-peer over-the-counter venue called Perl OTC. Thin liquidity, wide spreads, no Coinbase, no Bybit, no Binance. The naming collision is brutal. If you type quote PRL unquote into CoinGecko or Coinbase, you get Perl Labs, which is a completely different Solana-based data labeling token. They share 4 letters and nothing else. Mining is Hopper class GPU only, H100 or H200. Consumer cards do not work. 99% of retail cannot mine this, and the tokenomics demand side is structurally light. There is no fee burn, no required staking, no protocol level mechanism that turns more usage into buy pressure on the token directly. Real risks on both sides. Eyes wide open. You might watch the previous beat and think, fine, the difference is a technicality, the end result looks the same. It is not a technicality. The architectural difference shapes who builds on each chain, how each one scales, and what categories each one wins. Nockchain is ZK generalized. The marketplace can verify almost any computation, not just AI inference, which means Nockchain is positioned to be a broad compute exchange, privacy preserving, flexible, easy for traditional AI companies to onboard because the chain does not require them to change anything about their own model or their hardware. They pay, the miner does the work, the proof verifies it. Perl is laser focused. The mining puzzle is AI inference. So Perl is the chain that turns the same electricity GPU farms already burn into a second revenue stream. Perl's security budget grows directly in lockstep with AI demand. Perl wins efficiency, Nockchain wins breadth. Different primitives, attracting different builders, solving different scaling problems. Both are real. So what do you actually watch? For Nockchain, number 1, compute market code going live end of May, then the full market upgrade end of June. Those are the on-chain events that move this from announcement to functional. Number 2, paid inference volume on the marketplace once it is live. Real customers, real dollars, real proofs. Number 3, Tier 1 centralized exchange listings. Number 4, the NOCK app ecosystem. As developers ship rollups and applications that settle to Nockchain, the chain's block space demand grows for Perl. Number 1, a second Tier 1 AI inference provider integrating Perl beyond Together AI. Number 2, a real centralized exchange listing. Bybit, MEXC, Coinbase, any of them dramatically expands liquidity and makes the naming collision much less of an obstacle. Number 3, The customer emissions sharing product where AI developers running Pearl-powered inference can earn a share of the PRL mined by their own workloads. That is the retail accrual path. Number 4. Real useful hash rate growth from professional GPU operators. Both have credible paths to a multi-billion-dollar fully diluted valuation if their respective adoption curves play out. Neither is a guarantee, each is real. Quick question for the comments. If you had to lean into one of these two architectures for the next 12 months, which way do you lean and why? Drop it below. Here is my take. The Nockchain versus Pearl war misses the entire point. These are not two projects competing to be the same thing. They are two genuinely different expressions of the same emerging category, and the category is what creates the wealth. Bitcoin proved that energy could be turned into money. Ethereum proved that state could be turned into money. Proof of useful work is the next primitive crypto is figuring out. Compute turned into money. Inference turned into money. Verification turned into money. Whether the route is Nockchain's generalized marketplace, Pearl's inference native chain, or somebody else's design we have not seen yet, the category is the bet. Success in Nockchain does not kill Pearl. Success in Pearl does not kill Nockchain. Success in either one lifts the entire useful work narrative and lifts the credibility of every honest project in this category. Stop arguing, start watching the category. Separate signal from noise, ignore the tribalist takes on social, ignore the price action in week-long timeframes. What actually matters, real paid inference, real exchange listings, real partnership wins on either side. Both are real assets with real downside risk. This is not financial advice. Do your own research. Sit with the architecture before you decide where you stand. Watch list going forward. End of May, Nockchain compute market code. End of June, full Nockchain market upgrade. Pearl tier, one exchange listing whenever it lands. A second major AI infrastructure provider integrating Pearl after Together AI and the customer emissions sharing rollout from Pearl. If you are trading any of this rotation, here's the stack I use. Blowfin for perps, link below. Ledger for cold storage, especially after the MetaMask hack a few years ago. TradingView for charts. CoinTracker for taxes. All 4 linked. Where we land, Nockchain proves the computation happened on a chain built to verify almost anything. Pearl makes the computation itself the useful work on a Bitcoin fork chain dedicated to AI inference. Same revolution. 2 different shapes, neither one cancels the other out, both worth understanding deeply before you have to pick which side of the trade you stand on. Real-time research drops on X first, at CryptoS Giants. I will see you in the next one.